Okay. And hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's Dave Bondy. Welcome to Sunday Night Keeping It Real. Thank you to all of the new people who are joining me here on my locals platform. I really appreciate it. There's been several hundred people who have joined over the past week, and I appreciate it. If you are not a paid supporter, that's fine. I know our economy is in a very bad situation, but if you are able to support my independent journalism, I ask that you become a paid supporter by clicking the link at the bottom of the screen. There should be a link there that says, in order to comment, you must become a paid supporter. $5 a month. You can quit at any time. That's cool. But if you can't, I totally understand. That's why for the month of December, I have lifted the paywall. Anyone and everyone can watch, no matter who you are. You can sign up to Locals and be a free member. The good thing about Locals, you need to remember, there's no censorship. There's no algorithm. You can say whatever you want, and you will not be banned or blocked or censored as long as it's not illegal. And I ask that everyone be respectful to each other. And we all have differing opinions. So this week, a story that I've been trying to tell for years, and a story that the media does not do a good job of telling. We all know that there is a major fight against opioids in the United States. Billions of dollars now being spent against fighting opioids, but there are people who need them. And with the government sometimes and with the media, things are just cut and dry. But as we know, life is not really cut and dry. I'm going to be able to take the next 20 minutes or so, half hour, or however long we need to talk about this issue with an activist who has been deeply involved in this, Brandy. And she's here in Michigan. I'm in Michigan as well, but this is an issue that impacts the rest of the country as well, everybody. So let's go ahead and bring her in right now where we are. Hello there.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So, yeah, am I correct that what is your focus and how did you get involved? What is your background and how did you, I know you suffer from, give me your background basically.
Sure. So I was born with spina bifida occulta. Occulta means hidden. I have severe scoliosis. I had my first spinal fusion at the age of 12. So this all started when I was 8 years old, complaining that my back hurt, my legs hurt. I was diagnosed with restless leg syndrome, scoliosis, and wore a horrific brace called a Milwaukee back brace. And I had my first spinal fusion at the age of 12. With that being said, it didn't stop me. I'm an athlete. I played college basketball for Schoolcraft College, and then I went on to be a high school basketball coach. And then I moved to Las Vegas. But I endured a lot in between. I've had a number of surgeries that aren't necessarily spinal related. But I had complications from that initial surgery. The rods, my spine continued to curve, but not just curve, like I have a double curve. It
Wow.
twisted, which is called rotoscoliosis. So the rods had to come out because they were grinding each other and protruding out of my back. So I went through that second surgery at the age of 23. And at 37, unfortunately, I was facing the biggest surgery because I was losing my legs. I was becoming paralyzed, which spina bifida, most people can't walk. And I was facing that reality in my mid 30s. So at 37, I had the lumbar fusion to hopefully regain my legs back. But this surgery came with a 3 to 5 year recovery. And it was a lot. And that's kind of what brought me back here to Michigan. I'm a single mom and I was in a lot of pain, but I couldn't walk and it was a lot to deal with. So I had to come back here and to get my life back together and hopefully regain my walking. And I have. I am walking and it's amazing, but I am a big person involved with fitness and athletics. And I just lived my whole life knowing that the outcomes can be 50-50. This could have went or this. And nothing easy. So I've endured a lot of pain in my life. This is my life story. And I've been there, tried that. And I never thought I would have to be in this fight, but I'm just using my whole life's experience and what I know to fight off of this opioid propaganda that Americans are being brainwashed with.
That's the thing. We hear, and especially when I was working in TV, the battle against opioids, and there is, like you said, people can be addicted to anything, and there's it's never black and white. And what's the deal? So there is a part where people are addicted. I know there's been nationwide lawsuits. Has it swung the pendulum now that it's difficult for people to get opioids who actually need them? Is it gone one way now?
The pendulum has swung way too far. And really, this started back in 2016 when the CDC came out and revised their opioid guidelines. So, since 2016, but what was the real kicker was in 2017 when the DEA got involved. They started cutting the production of opioid medications, but
Wow.
also ADHD medications, anything that's a scheduled med, and they started arresting our doctors. And here we are in 2023, and the DEA wants to make the biggest cut to opioid production for 2024. And this year's been traumatic for a lot of people. Everybody is facing shortages of their medications. Doctors don't want to prescribe. And here in Michigan, we have a whole separate battle with the University of Michigan, Michigan Medicine. They have U of M open. They are anti opioid. And they've released all of these opioid guidelines for the state of Michigan. And that they don't want you having any opioids. And we're talking about major surgeries, double mastectomies. Like, are you, first of all, not everybody feels pain the same way, but to put out guidelines that, you get 0 to 5 pills is dangerous.
It's
And
not it's not illegal. They're allowed to prescribe it, or are they just scared to prescribe it if they can?
it's not illegal to prescribe. The
Yeah.
problem is doctors are scared because the DEA, and here in Michigan, it was a big problem. But these pill mills, those are long gone. That was, early 2000s, early 2010s. And what are we doing? It's just a lot of big headlines came from Michigan. We have a big lawyer here, Ron Chapman, who has represented many doctors here in Michigan and has gotten them exonerated. But I mean, the DEA is going too far because we are losing doctors. Doctors do not want to be even in, they don't want to prescribe because they don't even want to get red flagged in the system. So they're literally telling people like me, you don't matter. We don't want you. So moving,
Now,
go ahead.
wow, what I'm bringing, I want to bring this up on the screen because there's this national big lawsuit, the National Opioid Settlement. Is that's what's scaring everyone? Where did this come from? Was this back in the day? Was this back in the day of just explain? Do you know about this?
Oh, I
And
know all
everyone,
too well.
okay, so
I've been
well,
traveling up to Lansing to attend these opioid advisory committee meetings. I've been
okay,
to all of them. This was a money grab. This was a huge money grab. They did it with, 100 years ago with alcohol, they did it with tobacco, and now they've moved on to opioids. So what is happening is our state attorney general signed up for these opioid litigations, right?
yep,
So Dana Nessel is getting a whopping $733 million. So under Whitmer's administration, she has all these opioid boards. Okay, now this opioid litigation board is to disperse all of this money. So I've been up in Lansing watching these addiction and recovery doctors come in begging for some of that money. In the last meeting I attended, they openly stated that they've already lost a couple $1 million. So they're openly admitting that they
Wow.
don't know where a couple $1 million went. But here's the bigger problem with everybody that, needs help. No, absolutely, people need help with addiction and recovery. We support that, but they've totally scrutinized and left out a whole community, and majority of these people are disabled human beings, and they need access to medication, and they're not addicted. And people post up, people that just got in a severe car accident, and all of this is creating a nightmare. And this money, we all know where this money is going to go. It's going in people's pockets. The directors are going to, this is a huge payday for them. I mean, nobody, with this amount of money, anybody in addiction and recovery shouldn't have to pay a dime. But there are centers here, because I've been investigating them. I've been calling them. And first of all, they don't want nothing to do with pain patients. You have to have the diagnosis that you have substance abuse problem or opioid abuse addiction issues. And a lot of them don't even take your insurance, so they're cash only. There's a lot of
Wow.
things that under Whitmer's administration are terrible, because she's also was involved, her father, with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield here in Michigan is the one who were sending undercover DEA agents into pain management doctors to see if they prescribe opioids. I mean,
Now, is it true there? So there was certain companies or doctors. There was a push to try to get people hooked or to make money. So that was true, right? I mean, that did happen.
well, we're not saying with the Sackler family. The Sackler family is the one that, created and marketed OxyContin. We're not
Okay.
saying that they did things ethical. We're not saying
Yeah.
that. But this was not solely on them. OxyContin didn't come
True.
out until the mid 90s. Addiction has
So
been a problem forever.
true. So are they? There was a problem. They're overcorrecting way
Yes.
too much now. You're saying that's the issue.
Way too much. And we are, as somebody with all of these serious spinal issues, moving here in 2019, I was treated horribly. I called 53 doctors here, and they all, what's her diagnosis? Okay. What kind of medications did she take? The minute my mother or I said opioids, they said, sorry, we don't want you. We don't want nothing to do with her. What?
They wouldn't even take you or her as a client or a patient. They just said go away.
53 doctors. I got fed up. I had to hire a ADA lawyer here in Michigan, and he is also on the ADA board. And what he had to do was go through my life's, medical records, pull out that I have never been rated at risk of being addicted. He pulled out every medication I've ever tried since my first surgery at 12. And this was in hopes that the doctors felt comfortable treating me by proving in an easy to read document that I'm legit, I'm
Wow.
real, I'm not in active addiction. And if they were going to keep denying me, he was going to have to go a step further. So it took 2 years to establish a full medical team here, which includes a primary care doctor.
Wow. So, because now the way the media and everyone, obviously there were problems, but now when you say the word opioid, your people's brains are transitioned to think bad, danger, stay away, right? That's what the average person thinks.
Yes, 100%. And the problem with our mainstream media is they use such sensationalized headlines, and when they talk about the opioid epidemic, what is the picture that they show? A pill bottle. It's not a pill problem anymore. This has always been an illicit drug problem. These are people that have died from using heroin, meth, cocaine, and now illicit fentanyl. But majority of these deaths are coming from people who illegally obtained prescription opioids. They bought
And,
them off somebody else.
and you don't hear that. That's what you
You,
don't hear usually.
the news here, because I've been on Channel 4 and Channel 7 News. I've been on Channel 7 News a couple times. They refuse to state these facts. These are facts. And the facts are people who are prescribed an opioid, less than 1% become addicted. Less than 1%. It's an illicit drug problem. And a bigger problem is with the news lying to people by saying fentanyl. People are thinking fentanyl, fentanyl. This is
Mhm.
medical fentanyl. This is not something you get prescribed from a doctor. Medical fentanyl only comes in a few forms, and it's not a pill. It's not a pill. This is from China. This is, you can buy this stuff on the dark web, and they are pressing it into fake pills.
So let me stop you and ask you. So there's fentanyl that is used in the medical profession, correct?
Yes, every
And
major surgery I've had, they've used fentanyl.
okay, and then there's fentanyl being made in China, coming across the border. That's illegal, and they're two different things.
They are absolutely two different things. The medical fentanyl comes in a liquid form, so through
Okay,
an IV. There's
okay,
people that have pain pumps installed in their back, and it's like a
okay.
vial. Okay, these are very severe cases. And when you go under for surgery, this is what keeps you safe and alive. And a patch, a fentanyl patch, which I did use a fentanyl patch for my second spinal fusion. And I only used that for 2 weeks and I ripped it off, which I shouldn't have done that, but I survived. I wasn't a fan of it, I just didn't like it. And lollipops and a nasal spray, which usually those are given to children. Children, children fighting cancer, having major surgery. The illicit fentanyl that's coming over is powdered form, made in China. It's coming across our border, but it's also coming in through cops. There's a number of cops throughout the country who have been arrested for having tons of illicit fentanyl in their possession. So this is terrifying because the media is not sharing this reality, and they're just using very strong words like opioids, and they're showing you a pill bottle. This is not something that you get at a pharmacy at all. And now the illicit problem is getting even worse. There's even more deadlier things being put into these illicit drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is terrifying, but this is what prohibition does, and it's all we can do is keep telling people like 100 years ago, alcohol prohibition was a thing. And what happened? What happened from that? Nothing good. So we lost a lot of people. They had to legalize it, regulate it, and make it safe. Now there's a safe supply of liquor. There's safe consumption sites, like a bar. You can safely go use and drink your liquor safely because it's not made with illegal substances.
Yeah.
And we're not doing
Question.
that. Yes.
So the fentanyl in the hospitals, it's obviously not the same as what's coming across the border, but are they now just like pills? The fentanyl in the hospital, are they saying no, no, no to that too? Are they cutting down on using that?
So the only thing that I am aware of is there is a shortage of medical fentanyl in our hospitals, and this is all because of the DEA. So what
Okay.
are people going to do? Are there people are canceling surgeries? People are being left without, and there's no plan. Like there's nobody out here talking about what are we going to do with all of these people and how are we going to keep them alive during surgery? Because the goal of the DEA right now, since 2017, is going to be an opioid free country. You won't be able to have surgery. You're going to die. And nobody is talking about this, and it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and the media and the government at times they like to swing the pendulum and go wild on certain things. COVID, we learned a lot about what they went crazy on, and I learned a lot too. So what is there's people like you and there's others, but how do you just keep how do you spread the word? Just doing things like this and talking to more people, making lawmakers, because a lot of lawmakers probably have no clue.
They don't. They have no clue. But this is where U of M Open comes into the picture. U of M Open is dictating what our state government should do. And that's terrifying. And they're being funded. Whitmer's funding them and they're supplying not evidence based stuff. There's just it's all very terrifying what's happening. And I've been all over social media. I am a part of a very large pain organization called the Doctor Patient Forum. I've been a part of this forum since 2018. So we're all across America, and all we can do is keep spreading awareness. Many of us travel to our state capitals, to DC, but when I go to Lansing and I meet with my representatives, they look at me and say they agree. Yeah, this has gone too far. This has gone
Yeah.
too far. We agree. We need to protect doctors. We need to protect patients. And a lot of them, because I try to make this personal, like, have you ever had a surgery? They say yes or no, or they know somebody. And they're like, oh my God, I had this surgery and I absolutely needed a hydrocodone. I couldn't imagine the pain I would have been in. So I'm saying to them, can you imagine going through that surgery again and you're going to be told there's no opioids available? I go, how would you react to that? So they've all agreed with me that things need to change. But I've been at this now for a couple years here in Michigan, and we have over 900 people here in our group. And I know everybody is contacting, our representatives, our media, and nothing is
Wow.
happening.
What if people are watching this right now? What can they do? Should they make some noise? Should
Yeah.
they email or call their lawmakers? Because I know of someone who doesn't understand. Someone, an average person out there I know of, said, "Hey, I don't understand why I can't get this. Why I have to jump through hoops." Well, now they know after listening to you. Should they write the lawmakers? Call the state?
Yeah.
What would help you out? What would help your group out?
What would help out is by everybody contacting and making government complaints. Contact your representatives and contact our congressmen in DC. Because this is a big issue with our veterans too. Our veterans are are being taken out, and it's terrifying. My fiance is a veteran. So I hear and know of a lot, and I have a lot of friends that were in the military. Our veterans are being cut off of their anxiety medication, their pain medication, whatever it is. They're being forced tapered, and they're committing suicide. Or I'm sure you've heard of, there's been um, mass shootings that some of these people were veterans.
Yeah.
And this is all creating chaos. This is all this is doing, complete chaos and fear. And these people were stable on their medications. It's just like ADHD medication. We have people that have been stable on their medications for years, and they haven't been able to access their medication for almost a year at this point. Every pharmacy is out. So I don't know what more to do or say to our state government, because I feel that Whitmer is overseeing this and she's shutting it down. And this is where we feel so discouraged. I know I do, with our Democratic Party here. We are talking, we are speaking up, and we are disabled people, we are veterans. We are the people that they claim that they represent. And
It
they are
seems like
not.
they're just taking talking points and opioid bad. So that's what they say. It's very simple for some of these lawmakers. They don't dig into issues. And to be honest, someone asked me to run for office, and I told them, I said, well, I'm not an expert in all of this, and they laughed. They're
Right.
like the lawmakers, many of them, they don't know. They just go with what's popular or what, but it's more than just the headlines or the talking points. People like you, if they would listen to people like you, I mean, and it's the pendulum isn't, they go overboard with stuff, and it happens time and time again. And that's why the issue also with with guns or mental health, it can't be just a myriad of things. It always has to
Yeah.
be one or another, and that's
Right.
just wrong. It's
It
just
is
wrong.
wrong. We are all unique individuals. Everybody deserves individual care. What
Yeah.
works for you may not work for me. And we need to respect that. Just like what happened during COVID, like people wanting to get a vaccine, some people not wanting the vaccine. Everybody should have a right to bodily autonomy, and that's that. We deserve the freedom to make these choices. We need to be informed. I think all doctors should. Yeah, well, just to let you know, this is some things you should be aware about, whatever medication you're taking. But now it's just like this fear is being pumped into everybody that opioids are bad, bad, bad. And it's literally killing people. And I listen, I'm in a lot of fear right now because we have till tomorrow. The DEA, there's a DEA regulations.gov, sorry. We can
Okay.
submit a public comment. And we have till tomorrow night at midnight to submit a comment. We have over 3,000 comments.
Wow.
We need over 100,000 for this to matter. Now, I don't trust the DEA. I don't. I think they're deleting comments. Why? I know they're deleting comments. But the problem is that there's going to be no medication available. So if you have an accident and you go to the hospital with a broken arm, they are literally going to tell you to go home and take Tylenol. That's
It's
happening right
yeah,
now.
that's just wrong. Well, everyone watching now, if you can, how do they? What's the best way to contact or uh to just is this on the DEA website, or what's the best way to go?
If you Google DEA 2024 quota, it's under regulations.gov. It should show up. And my name is Brandy. I'm on Facebook. I have my alter ego is Dark and Twisted Brandy, and in honor of my twisted spine. And
Yeah.
I'm Dark and Twisted Brandy on Facebook. That's a public page. I'm also on TikTok under Dark and Twisted Brandy. I have a link tree that would take you directly to the regulations.gov page.
Have you ever been taken down on TikTok? Because I've mentioned, or have you been had videos banned on there ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because as soon as I mention anything with drugs, I think their AI bans it right away. It's crazy.
It
Um,
is. TikTok has really changed in these recent months. It seems like ever since they had that hearing in August,
yeah.
things have changed.
So you don't mind if someone messages you on your fan Facebook page? They can message you.
I don't. This is what I do. Like this has became my life. I'm so I try to help as many people as possible and continue to be vocal and be the squeaky wheel for the community that doesn't have a voice right now.
Well, I am. We're on locals right now, and it looks like there's issues. Maybe not a lot of people watching. After I'm done, I'm going to send you the link where you can just put the link out there. But I'll text you after that to send that to you.
I appreciate it, and I'll blast this everywhere. So
Okay, I'll text
absolutely,
you in about 20 minutes. And people message you and start making I don't want to say make a ruckus, but make your voices heard.
please, please. I did a protest September 12th. I protested in front of the Detroit DEA headquarters. CBS News did show up, and we were on the news for the protest. And we're going to continue doing these protests, but we need numbers and we need people because we're talking about the disabled population, people that can't even leave their bed, and we need more able-bodied people to care because you too could become disabled just like that.
At any time, it could impact any one of us.
Yes. And
Yeah.
we need a safe supply of prescription medications. We need our doctors to not be harassed. We deserve medical freedom.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go. I'll get you a link.
Thanks, Dave.
I'll text you in about 20 minutes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Yeah, amazing story right there. A lot of us don't know or don't think that, with opioids, all opioids are bad, but people need opioids. It's a matter of the government, according to Brandy, swinging the pendulum too far and just going, too far on the edge. So it's a little wild, and I'm glad I'm able to have her on to talk about this, because that's just a very serious issue. Okay, I want to look at something now, a controversy that really I don't think is it's a made up controversy. As you know, I used to work in the mainstream media, and I critique the media often on things they do. And there's a site out there called Deadspin. It's like a blog, and they're not really in the mainstream media. They're really a bunch of losers that try to get clicks. And I don't know if you've seen this right here. Take a look at this picture. There's a writer for the Deadspin, and he put this picture out there saying that the Kansas City Chiefs needed to do something, and the NFL needed to do something about this kid that was wearing blackface at a Kansas City Chiefs game. Well, it turns out, let me bring it up here, that this is the kid right there. The picture only showed one side of the kid's face. The kid is actually wearing the Kansas City Chiefs colors on his face. Now, he is wearing the regalia of a Native American, but he is a Native American. His family's Native Americans. Now, the tribe that he is associated with, they came out and they did say that they do not support headdress and sort of this thing. But the writer for Deadspin didn't do any of this. He didn't do any background, nothing. And he just blasted the kid. But the kid basically is being supported now by a lot of people across the country. And another reason why people don't like the media. Now, this is not really the mainstream media. It's kind of a blog that is really not successful anymore, and basically just trying to make some clickbait. So this is my week in looking at just unfair coverage of what the media has done to people. And then this little kid, they're going after him for basically what looks like supporting the Kansas City Chiefs. That's really all it is. And if you ask his family, that's really all that is as well. So anyway, everyone, I really want to appreciate you for joining us. There has been some issues on Locals lately. They've been trying to update their system. So if you've been having some technical issues, please stay with me. Locals is trying to upgrade. There's been so many new people joining the site, so they're having issues keeping up with everything. Yes, Katie, as well. My wife was trying to help share the links out, and I really appreciate with that. Jordan, our regular viewer, has not been here because of all of these issues. So, okay, I'm going to let you go, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you during the week. Talk to you later.